Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game 120 versus Colorful. This game taking place here on Hammerfall. Colorful spawning as the pink Night Elf player on the top left-hand side of the map. Wow, that was only one click and it still jumped that far back. Let's go ahead and speed things up to 4 times speed. Night Elf versus Undead, Altar of Elders, Moonwell, and an Ancient of War. Meanwhile, on the southern side, we're looking at 120 opening up with Crypt, Altar of Darkness. There's that Tomb of Relics, where there's that Ziggurat, and it is going to be a Death Knight going up against a Demon Hunter. Classic matchup here on Hammerfall as we let this game already get underway. 2-minute mark, Demon Hunter out, Ancient of War tanking, and we are now off to the races. All right, Immolation, well, being turned on here to go after the snappers here. The Reef Elemental is actually trying to chase this little Acolyte. I don't know if that is on accident or on purpose, but the Reef Elementals doing that little bit of a chase actually prevented the Demon Hunter from getting more experience, but it also minimized the damage that the Night Elf army was taking. This Ancient of War still looking pretty strong and steady as the Demon Hunter makes his way down with Immolation and perhaps going to be trying to tech evasion as well. All right, Demon Hunter going to come across here, turns on Immolation and says, surprise, standing next to me can and is hazardous to your health, but preventing any sort of easy surround. We see a mana burn now on that Death Knight. Death Knight down to 125 mana. Tech to tier 2 already begun, and all of these units, well, nicely hiding on a Blight to try and maintain those hit points. Demon Hunter still keeping back here. Ancient of War training up more archers, skeletal minions, while scouting things out as both sides are opting to tech to tier 2. All right, quick techs to tier 2, teching that army now. Meanwhile, on the southern portion here, Demon Hunter going to try and engage, go after some of this as well as the Death Knight. Well, gets a Death Coil off on that Demon Hunter. Both sides looking to fight, looking to engage again. And where are we going next? There is that Immolation trying to clean up some of these units. Death Knight has not been able to finish off that Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter holding steady at 120 hit points and also getting body blocked by his own archers. All right, so far, Colorful really not, inking out ahead all that much, trying to maintain or manage the mana on that Death Knight, also trying to make sure the Death Knight doesn't easily get to level 2, and then perhaps open up Unholy Aura for faster movement speed. Speaking of faster movement speed, Demon Hunter now picks up those Boots of Speed from that shop, and now already making its way off to the north. All right. So now, Colorful going in for that Colorful Harassment on that Death Knight, just looking for an opportunity to put a little bit of damage and perhaps find a crack in 120's early game here. If he's able to pick off a unit or two, all of those small victories eventually add up. Coming back around, what is the Demon Hunter going to do here? We're looking at the Skeletal Minion now retreating back here. Death Knight, Ghoul, Skeletal Minion also coming back the other way as a Tome of Intelligence. Is it going to get picked up perhaps by a Keeper of the Grove later, Goblin Alchemist, or perhaps the Demon Hunter actually wants that item? Just out of the dentist chair. All right. No, don't smile. It might hurt your face, Metaphysics. Down to the south, 120. Essence or Sacrificial Skull coupled with the Ziggurat here could be going for an expansion, upgrading to that Nerubian Tower early. Remember, the Nerubian Tower now has piercing damage, no longer normal damage, so not as effective against heroes, but better against air units. Air units if you just need a little bit of extra damage. Naga Sea, which is going to try and engage here. There's a Cold Arrow going to try and find a low hit point or a slow-moving trailing ghoul. Skeletal Minion actually purposely gets in the way of the Naga Sea Witch to try and prevent any sort of chase. Back off to the north, we are at tier 2, teching to tier 3 by Colorful. Meanwhile, nope. Undead actually staying at tier 2 a little bit longer, opting to go for the Lich and that Slaughterhouse instead of teching the tier 3 quickly as he spends his gold on, well, an expansion. Ancient of War off to the north here, trying to clear out this Kobold Taskmaster creep camp. That should give level 2 to the Naga Sea Witch once these last 2 trolls get taken out. Demon Hunter going to be staying at level 2 here. I don't see an Ancient of War anywhere, though. Or excuse me, an Ancient... a Tree of Life, not an Ancient. There's that Tree of Life to try and establish up that Expo. Ghouls are supposedly much weaker now, too. Wondering if we'll see Wand of Negation used as a way to dispel. Yeah, Ghoul Frenzy is supposed to be weaker now with that slower movement speed, right? Ghouls are supposed to be weaker with that slower movement speed, and we'll see what comes across here with the Death Knight. The attack speed of it's actually a little interesting. Crypt Fiends, who's going to come out on top? Who's going to kill the other Sentry Ward first? There's a Frost Nova onto the units. There's another Sentry Ward there. Demon Hunter going to try and engage. There's a Mana Burn onto the Death Knight. Death Knight now gets up to level 3, though, and both sides are still exchanging some blows. Low hit point Ghoul going to be able to escape. There's another Mana Burn right there as the Death Knight now down to 0, down to pretty much 0 mana, unable to do very much here. Alright, looking at a Ghoul. Ghoul about to get taken down. It does end up falling. Naga Sea Witch could be in trouble, down to 110 hit points as it is trying to get away. Archer is actually getting into the fight here to allow that Naga Sea Witch to escape as the Demon Hunter with Boots of Speed still going after that Lich. 1 or 2 more shots. Is that Lich going to be able to fall? No, down to 19 hit points. Obsidian Statue with Essence of Blight and body blocking purposely stands into the gap to prevent the Demon Hunter from slipping on through, and that Lich does end up surviving there as the Demon Hunter now retreats back off to the north. Some strong play. There's that Nerubian Tower with that piercing damage that I mentioned earlier. No longer dealing normal damage. The slow effect often more than enough at deterring a hero from coming in, and now piercing damage, well, deals a little bit less damage to the hero, but, well, I don't know. I can't really say if that's a buff or just a neutral change, or a buff or a nerf, yeah. Off to the north here, Colorful, looking to entangle this haunted gold mine, or this entangled gold mine to start mining from. Meanwhile, here we go. Demon Hunter trying to go after the Obsidian Statue. No more cold arrows. There is some slow poison arrows from the Dryads, but that's not going to be enough to prevent that Obsidian Statue from being able to get back on to Blight. Meanwhile, we're still looking at a little bit of creeping close to home. This green creep camp there. Hey, PJ Nom Nom Nom, thank you for tuning in. Ancient of War still wandering around off to the north here. Perhaps going to try and clear out some of these orange and green creep camps, getting to level 3 on both the Demon Hunter and Naga Sea Witch. All right, in position now. There is a ward right there. Sasquatch going to get cleaned up. We're going to see a double level up here. Demon Hunter, or excuse me, the Druids of the Claw are already at mastery training, and we're looking at all of these getting cleared out quickly. Meanwhile, Death Knight and the Lich on the southern side trying to keep pace, keep up with the race, going after its own green creep camp as well. Sells a quick item, but does have a Wand of Mana Stealing picked up. We'll see what comes of that. Or does he going to aggro the Gargantuan Sea Turtle? Needs to get the arrow off if he wants to aggro them. There you are. There you go. They're going to get aggro. Demon Hunter trying to engage here. And now Druid of the Claw perhaps going to be looking at a rejuvenation. There is a roar right there as the Gargantuan Sea Turtle, well, does a double back around and then tries to engage here. Isn't really attacking. All right, level 3 now on the Naga Sea Witch there. Demon Hunter still sitting at level 3. There's a little bit of rejuvenation. Both sides clearing out difficult creep camps. However, well, Colorful doing the better job here, clearing out a red one and perhaps going to pick up, what item was that? Is that Claws of Attack +8? Nope, that wasn't the item that I was looking for. Where? Mana Stone. Yeah, Mana Stone on the Naga Sea Witch. A stronger consumable item. Increases mana regeneration and then can be popped and used as a one-time item as well. Demon Hunter does have Orb of Venom and Claws of Attack +8. Not going after that creep camp here, looking to perhaps try and go after the gargoyles here. Death Knight now trying to retreat back. Are we going to see some mana burns? Level 4, level 2 going up against 2 level 3s. There's a level 2 mana burn straight on that obsidian statue. And that is a perfect job for the Demon Hunter to try and go after these obsidian statues. There's a mana burn onto the Lich, but a Frost Nova still gets thrown down here as both sides are ready to fight and engage. Rejuvenation off on the Demon Hunter. We're looking at this Gargantuan Sea Turtle perhaps going to get cleaned up again. The Druids of the Claw going into Druid form there, and now with a little bit of slow poison, the Gargantuan Sea Turtle just wandering a little bit too far away from home, and the Demon Hunter's stagger step going to, well, finish things up as another Mana Stone dropped for this time the Demon Hunter. Mana Stone, well, gets 25% additional mana regeneration. On top of that, gets, well, 200 hit point instant pop one-time use as the Naga Sea Witch backs away. All right, Naga Sea Witch is going to be shy of level 4. Same thing with the Demon Hunter. Meanwhile, Death Knight is at 4, and the Lich is now at level 3. So dual level 2 Death Coil Frost Nova is going up against level 2 Fork Lightning and a level 2 Mana Burn. All right. Death Coil finishing the job there. Laboratory, the only real creep camp left. The big one already taken down, so 333 is all that is left here. I think that counts as a green creep camp pretty much now, as we're going to see a Goblin Shredder, well, hired and then sent back home quickly. All right, as it goes to clear the forest. 70 over 70 supply as the Expo of Colorful now in a little bit of trouble. Repairs underway. Big Frost Nova going down as all of those poor wisps now pretty much in trouble. Are we going to see some repairs? The Gargoyles trying to shut things down here. The Wisps able to repair one Ancient Protector, perhaps enough to act as a bit of a deterrent, as the Demon Hunter trying to chase after and or perhaps get some lasting damage onto that Lich. Lich down to 329 hit points, still taking a little bit of damage over time because of that Orb of Venom. More room in that entangled gold mine there. The Gargoyles going straight after those Wisps now. Major harassment as the Demon Hunter shows up to try and stop this. The Gargoyles, because of their superior numbers, would pretty much stop any sort of Hippogriff play, so it doesn't really make sense to try to go after the Ancient of Air either. Meanwhile, Death Knight finding another creep camp off to the south here, a 5-3-1 creep camp to clear up. Death Knight going to stay at level 4, Lich going to stay at level 3, but, well, more items and gold are still going to abound here as the entangled gold mine could get pressured once again. No, Tree of Life this time getting pressured as we're looking at the Druids of the Claw clawing their way through, perhaps trying to shut down this crypt from training up any additional units. Little does he know that there's a second crypt off to the south. Demon Hunter, Staff of Preservation back home, really needs to see some sort of Ancient Protector in the woods or in the vicinity to at least deter any sort of a play here. Demon Hunter now by himself going up against the majority of 120's army. This is not looking good as the Demon Hunter is now trying to fight its way through. Dryads showing up, Ancient of War uprooting, and we're going to look at a fight get underway here. Demon Hunter trying to slip through, trying to go after all of these units again as we see a Scroll of Town Portal coming back there at the Expo. Now perhaps creating a little bit of a pincer play. There's a Fork Lightning trying to finish off some of those Gargoyles. No, the Gargoyles able to get away low on hit points. You can see those two right there, the prime targets to be lost. All right, I don't know if the stone form upgrade is done, but off of one crypt now, well, 120 is halving his production in terms of training up those Gargoyles. Gargoyles only have 410 hit points. They do end up well, falling pretty quickly, especially as the game gets later. The Naga Sea Witch, if it gets to level 5, level 3 Fork Lightning could greatly, well, deal damage to those Gargoyles, allowing the Dryads to pick them off. That's all you're trying to do, trying to lower their hit points so that the remaining army can clean things up, as we're looking at a low hit point ghoul now being able to retreat back. All of this damage on the Black Citadel here is pretty much superficial. Doesn't really matter until it gets below about 700 hit points, and then defend is necessary. In comes a roar here, in comes the gargoyles, and now the battle is raging on. Are we going to see a Fork Lightning there? There's a Fork Lightning. Dryads trying to push their way through. Level 4 now on the Naga Sea Witch. We do see Scroll of Healing as the Dryads are now backing away. 1-2 upgrades going up, going up against, or sorry, 2-2 upgrades now going up against 3-2 upgrades. The Gargoyles very much well upgraded here as the Dryads are trying to poke apart these units quickly. All right, Naga Sea Witch could perhaps try to burst down some more again. Lich now gets up to level 4. Death Knight now close to level 5. Demon Hunter could be in a little bit of trouble as well. There's level 5 now on the Death Knight as the Demon Hunter tries to go after some other targets. Frost Nova onto a Druid of the Claw. Both sides suffering heavy casualties, but Colorful the one taking or losing more. 58 supply compared to 70 now, as Colorful sits at dual level 4 heroes going up against a level 5 Death Knight and a level 4 Lich. Alright, the Gargoyles being fully upgraded, or nearly fully upgraded. 3-2 upgrades on those Gargoyles, preventing a lot of that damage, going up against 2-2 upgraded Dryads. Hippogriffs now joining in on the fight here, trying to reach a critical mass on number on these Hippogriffs. Perhaps even training up a Keeper of the Grove for Thorns Aura could be helpful, as we're looking at level 3 armor upgrades for these Hippogriffs here. So level 3 armor upgrades for the Dryads, for the Hippogriffs, try to give them a little bit additional armor. Meanwhile, are we going to go for the attack upgrades too? It does not look like it, even though there is plenty of resources to go around. Still cranking out units and trying to bounce back. 120. Pretty much full on items. Pretty much sitting in the higher end of low upkeep, and now sitting on nearly 1,400 gold, pushing into high upkeep now. Really wants to press here with that army size advantage. He doesn't want to stay in high upkeep too long. Otherwise, well, he's only mining, I believe, 8 gold a second compared to 14. And that does become a big difference later on. Every minute you end up just seeing yourself fall behind 360 gold. And that does add up. All right, where are we going off to next? 89 supply compared to 70. Demon Hunter getting ready to engage. There's no Breath of Fire, no real AoE against all of these units. Gargoyles going straight after here. Perhaps the Naga Sea Witch wants to launch a Fork Lightning, needs to get a bit more mana, and needs really to get to level 3. If the Naga Sea Witch can get level 3 Fork Lightning, if the Naga Sea Witch can get there, well, that would already be an indication that he's been able to fight back into this game and get a little bit of an advantage. 74 supply now compared to 95. 120 is really pushing with a rather large army, as the main base is now down to about 2 minutes of mining left. This haunted gold mine going to be fairly well protected. Demon Hunter could try and engage here. Decent armor, but only at 875 hit points, going up against a level 3 Death Coil and a level 2 Frost Nova. Things are not looking good for that Demon Hunter. One round of attacks or 2 is more than enough here. Demon Hunter going to go ahead and try and engage. Fork Lightning, are we going to see it come across? No. The Gargoyles know better than to try and test that there, as we are going into level 3 weapon upgrades. 3-3 upgrades going up against soon to be 3-3 upgrades for the Night Elf, just trying to buy a little bit of time. There's that Frost Nova there, a round of attack. Death Coil, is it going to be inbound down to 137 hit points? We're going to see a rejuvenation, most likely. There's that rejuvenation there. Demon Hunter, well, life flash before its eyes, doesn't have that many hit points to begin with, perhaps is rather scared, and now back up to 800 hit points, going to try and test the waters again. Haunted Gold Mine completed. Some Acolytes could be transitioning off to the north here. There is a Ziggurat to try and defend here. as the Expo on the southern side has about 3.5 minutes of mining. Expo off on the north side about 6. So there's going to be three more minutes of 3.5 more minutes of 120 being able to mine off of 2 bases while in high upkeep compared to or 3 bases, yeah, mining on 3 bases while in high upkeep. All right, 12 gold a second now compared to 7. Trying to do my math quickly for you. 12 gold a second compared to 7. A mana stone actually dropped, left behind here. That is a big item, especially for a Naga Sea Witch or someone else to try and pick up. That is an absolutely huge level. That's a huge item to be left behind. Are the Acolytes actually going to spot that? That is a question there, as we see just an army of gargoyles in the air ready to go. Demon Hunter gonna try and test the waters. I believe the Demon Hunter's range against air unit is 600 range there. Should be able to outrange a gargoyle. The gargoyle only has 300. Summoning up more buildings. Tree of Eternity making a move here. Goblin Shredder perhaps gonna return, and then needs to return lumber there, or perhaps start gathering lumber in a different area, or going to the Hunter's Hall instead. Little bit of a standoff situation now. Entangled Gold Mine hasn't really been started. The Southern Gold Mine has 2 more minutes of mining. This Northern Gold Mine 4.5 more minutes, as both sides are getting underway. Acolyte taking a little bit of damage. It's going to be 1 more shot necessary to finish it off. Doesn't give up a level, but it does afford a little bit of chase here. We do see Nature's Blessing, 88 over 100 supply. All of the gargoyles are trying to take down this Tree of Eternity. Tree of Eternity, even with its improved armor, not going to be able to, take this onslaught of damage. All right, there's Scroll of Protection. There's Mana Burn. And here we are. Here we go. Off to the races. Scroll of Town Portal already in position. The Tree of Eternity going to get taken down. And at what cost? What cost? A Scroll of Town Portal. I don't believe that many units were lost. 95 supply, but at the Tree of Eternity, taking away the hopes for economic, recovery. All right, Staff of Preservation and bringing back that Hippogriff here. Now needs to go after this position now. We see a Panda joining in on the battle a little bit late, really needing that, Drunken Haze. Okay, so Drunken Haze to perhaps minimize the damage across all of these gargoyles, as they're going to be stacked up on top of each other. Hippogriffs are going to try and engage here. Are we going to see Drunken Haze here? The gargoyles trying to engage against each other. There's a Scroll of the Beast. That is some big damage increase as well. But what can the Hippogriffs really do against all of those gargoyles? Once all the gargoyles are gone, it doesn't really matter. 120 can't rebuild his army just quite yet. We're looking at the Necropolis about to get taken down. A little bit of damage getting added forth, and here we are. Here we go. Both sides fighting. Who's going to come out on top? There's Drunken Haze, Scroll of Protection, Scroll of Healing, Forked Lightning. Pretty much every spell under the book. Destroyers, Devouring Magic, having plenty of targets to go after. 84 supply, 81 compared to 70. Colorful now in trouble. Still down 13 supply as the gargoyles seem to be owning the skies. Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, not enough to blow those gargoyles out of the sky just quite yet. 79 compared to 53, but the Death Knight could be in trouble. Death Knight falls, and now Demon Hunter gets up to level 5. Now going after the Lich. Lich down to 400 hit points, trying to retreat back. Staff of Preservation for the save, as the gargoyles are now going after these Druids of the Claw here. Panda could turn back around. No, doesn't have enough mana. It's too bad this Mana Stone is not picked up. Oh, sorry, Fog of War was off. Not quite sure when that happened. But are we going to turn around, perhaps get in a little bit of damage here? Demon Hunter comes across here. Naga Sea Witch doesn't have a Staff of Preservation from the Demon Hunter. Naga Sea Witch falls at level 4. And with that, that may be the game. Yes, Colorful leaving the game, losing that level 4 Naga Sea Witch. The Demon Hunter needed to pick one up, perhaps be able to Staff of Preservation, take those and then save that Naga Sea Witch and get it back into action quickly. Instead, losing the Naga Sea Witch and any chance of coming back into this game. Let me know what you guys thought about